Joining us live with his weekly take on political news from all levels of government is our friend and CTV's political commentator, Scott Reid. Scott, good to see you. I'm glad we saw you today. If it was yesterday, you might have had some trouble coming in.
More than a little bit of trouble. I just finished shoveling my way out of my driveway,
glad you made it.
20 minutes ago.
I was going to say, Scott's not shoveling anything but facts, so
That's
let's
right,
get into
man.
that. Right? Okay.
I'm the truth shoveler.
Okay, and let's talk about this, because, Scott, what a week it's been. You know, I mean, since Davos, the Prime Minister last night, member of the Trump administration, suggested he walked back his Davos comments. We've just heard from him, and, you know, we got this clip. So let's play the clip from Mark Carney on his way arriving at Parliament Hill this morning, and then go to Scott.
To be absolutely clear, and I said this to the president, I meant what I said in Davos. It was clear, it was a broader set of issues, that Canada was the first country to understand the change in U.S. trade policy that he had initiated. And we're responding to that. We're responding positively by building partnerships abroad. We're responding positively by building at home. And we're prepared to respond positively by building that new relationship through CUSMA. He understood that, and it was a good conversation.
That doesn't seem like a rapid walk back of his speech, Scott.
No, he's quite definitive there. Like, that's more declarative than I necessarily expected the Prime Minister to be. And just to put this in context, after, as you say, an absolutely extraordinary week where Trump listened to the Davos speech, heard the world reaction and applause to it, was forced to back down on Greenland in what was can only be seen as a humiliating reversal. All of these threats that he's making about tariffs, all that unfolds. And now, of course, because the Trump administration always must play the peacock. Everyone is weak and they are strong, right? Whether that's connected to reality or not. They put out this story. It runs on Reuters that, you know, the Prime Minister called the President to grovel. If you notice, the Prime Minister definitive on a couple of points. First of all, the President called the Prime Minister. And second of all, very clear, very specific in saying, I repeated what I said and I stood by what I said in my Davos speech. This delicate balance of dealing with Trump, dealing with his erraticism, dealing with his threats, I think I'm noticing two changes in Carney. One, a little bit stiffer, right? And not necessarily provocative, but a little bit stiffer in saying, we will stand our ground, we will take our positions, we won't bend. And then secondly, also just giving the president almost time to have his temper tantrum. You notice on the tariff threat, you know, the Prime Minister did not rush into the breach. It wasn't an aggressive, immediate response. And I think that is indicative of their strategy right now, which is if the president seems particularly erratic and unpredictable, give it 24, give it 48 hours, let the thing breathe. And some of these threats will just vanish like vapor. And indeed, that's what's happened.
Yeah, very interesting. Like, hold off on that, sending that angry email 24 hours later and see where it gets you, right?
Well, I mean, can you imagine the natural impulse, both politically, because you want the country to see you standing up, right? But then also personally would be to say, hey, back off. But what end is served by that? So instead, remain calm. If he's going to be erratic, you be steady. And that seems to be the Carney formula for now.
I was going to say, maybe they need to have pizza together.
Exactly. Pizza seems to be making peace.
Well, who doesn't like a slice?
Premier Doug Ford and Mark Carney, of course, this was Trump being the catalyst in making Canada go to China for that trade deal with EVs and canola seed oil. But now they're kind of buddies again, it seems, Scott.
Well, you know, and this is a very sweet picture. But, you know, Ford, come on, take me out for dinner. Get me let's get a napkin on our laps. Like, are you going to wine and dine me? Instead, it's like, here, grab a slice of za and let's run. I'm not surprised by any of this. Now, it made sense for Doug Ford politically, you know, to rattle a little bit in public and say, look, I'm not sure I like this Chinese EVs deal. I'm standing up for the Ontario auto sector and all that. I never for 1 second imagined that we would not see this scene unfold, where they would be shaking hands and, you know, sharing pasta and pizza together. And that's because if you look at Doug Ford's record, one of his strengths as a leader is that he's always seeking to collaborate. So, you know, he was kissing cousins with Chrystia Freeland. He and Olivia Chow are always shaking hands and high-fiving. Same thing with Carney. So I think he recognizes that in the long run, he wants to position himself as the premier, as the leader that can get along with others and other levels of government. So this spat was always destined, I thought, to be short-term.
Okay, got about 30 seconds on Eglinton Crosstown LRT. Looks like we've got an opening date, February 8th, Scott.
Oh, yeah? $100? Let's go.
Would you make that bet?
Did I hear a boy cry wolf? So we'll see. They say February 8th. Here's the political observation I would make. This is a provincial creature. Metrolinx is provincial as an agency. Yeah. This crosstown is going to be provincial in terms of its ownership. But Olivia Chow owns this thing politically because it's in the city. And so if it has a sputtering, embarrassing start, the way that the Finch line did, then that will be very problematic for her in an election year, whether she owns it or not, fair or not. And that's what it is to be running as an incumbent for re-election. You own everything that you own and everything that people think you own. So watch for that.
Yeah, you could be in a web even though you didn't spin it. So there you go.
There we go. Okay. Well, you know, February 8th is going to be a consequential day for her politically.
Will be, yeah. Okay, Scott, appreciate this.
Yeah,
Thanks so much.
lots of interesting stuff.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
next week, if not sooner.
We shall see you.
Thank you,
Scott.